Hey parents, it's Mr. Sunny with the MBU Role Models podcast, where we invite big people that are doing really great things in the world to come on and speak to your kids about being positive because they are great role models. Today, I have a very special person on with us today, and she is one of the strongest women that I know, and she's played an integral role in my self-confidence and my self-development, and she inspires me every single day to be a better human being, to be a better teacher, to be a better boyfriend, and also just becoming better at life. So I am so thrilled and happy to invite Raina Shah onto the Role Models podcast. Thank you, Raina, so much for coming on. She is the director of the health education program at Uplift Humanity India. And she's also a consultant for a pharmaceutical company, a startup pharmaceutical company. And I don't know how she does it, but she's super successful at both. And she is going to be talking to you guys all about her journey, her goals in life, and what she wants to accomplish. Raina, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for the amazing introduction. So, hi everyone. Raina here. So, I actually graduated back in 2015 with a degree in pharmaceutical healthcare business. So, I have a background in the healthcare field from a mix of the science and the business. By day, as Sunny mentioned, I work at a startup consulting firm and we consult for pharmaceutical companies. And on the side, I work as the director, well, I volunteer actually, as the director of the health education program for Uplift Humanity India. Uplift Humanity India is actually a nonprofit that is based in the US, and we execute our work in India, all over the country. We focus on serving underprivileged, abandoned, juvenile, orphaned youth, and we teach them life skills. And we have a year-round academic program which focuses on English, and then a program that I started with is health education. We also do a really cool summer program for teenagers that are in high school, and they get to go to India for 3 weeks and do peer-to-peer learning and teach the children that we work with on a year-round basis in India. Wow. So it's really exciting. It's really cool. So
how many kids do you guys have in this program in India?
So, I mean, I wouldn't even know for hands down right now. We currently we work in 3 facilities in Mumbai, 2 facilities in Delhi. I think we work in a big school with like 800 students in Gujarat. That's where I initially started, and then we have another facility in Hyderabad. So I don't really actually know the number of students in each facility in a total, but I think last we calculated. And it's on our website, we've touched over 10,000 lives, I want to say.
Wow, that's a big number.
And yeah, so it's awesome. I definitely recommend everyone to check out the website. It's called uplifthumanityndia.org. But back to the program that I started. So a little bit about that. Post-graduation in 2015, I realized that there was something more that I wanted to do with my life. I love my job, and I was doing every 9 to 5 job, but I still wanted something more. Like I wanted to make a greater impact. And what ended up happening was that I went through these phases of like writing and like journaling and like figuring out like, what is it I want to do? And then I really thought about like, what is it that really like drives me brings out the best in me? And it's like when I help others, it's when I'm able to give back. And when I initially thought about like who I would ever want to give back to, like what's the people, like what population of people do I want to give back to? Like who do I really feel like near and dear to? What really is my calling? And that was, kids in India, because growing up, I went to India every year. A big part of my family lives there. My grandparents live there. And, I used to see the girls in our home working, and every year I went back, it was like the girls would get married off at a young age. They would be there for a year, and then the next year they'd be gone. I remember like one girl got married at like 15 and had kids at like 16 or 17, which blew my mind. It was like, and this is real. Like this is something that happens, and this was something that happened. And I mean, thank God India now has has put a ban on this. So this is actually not allowed. It's illegal. But when I was younger, it was something that happened occurred constantly, right? So It was something that I had always felt so close to because these are the girls that I would see every year when I would go back and spend time with them because they were kids. So, that was something that really touched me. And when I really thought about it and reflected, I was like, I really want to help them. Like, I really want to be able to go back to that community and really figure out what's going on, what do they need, and what can I bring from my level of expertise or, uh, so that's where this whole thing like kind of came together, and I sketched out my plan for my program, and then approached the CEO Anish Patel, uh, and he loved my idea. So basically, I sketched out a program which was a year-long curriculum of basic health education. I mean, we already provide life skills in English, and thought this would be a great supplement. We focus on topics such as hygiene, oral health, mental health, and nutrition. And then like a lot of these schools, because menstruation and menstrual hygiene is already something that's being taught, we
Mm-hmm.
have that as a program that we want to build in for particular schools that don't have those programs. But that's something we're working on for the future. But currently, within our 52-week curriculum, we have those topics that I just discussed. So it's
Wow.
great. I corralled a team of, specialists within those fields, and we worked over 2 years to develop the curriculum, find out all the activities, train our teachers, and now it's something that we're doing. We launched in Gujarat at our first facility last year, and it was a great training program, a great like exercise I did there. I stayed on site in like the town that we were working in for a week, and it was just the most amazing experience ever. It's something that really is near and dear to my heart, and I don't know, I'm just really excited to be able to share with everyone, and looking forward to going back this year. We're launching in two more facilities, in a girls school and a boys school. So that's something I'm looking forward to this year as well.
That's really
And yeah,
exciting. That's really exciting because how you're 26, 27, sorry.
26.
26. So you're 26. I should know that. But you're 26 and you've accomplished so much already where you work as a very successful consultant for a startup consulting for a pharmaceutical company. And you also founded and are the director of this health education program, which is overseas and in India. And you're only 26 years old. You're not that far away in age than a lot of our students are, right? We have like 12, 13-year-old girls that come here, boys as well, but for the girls aspect, we have 12, 13-year-old girls, and you're just double their age, and you're so close in age to them. So what are some of the challenges that you faced as a kid? Because now you're super successful and you're becoming even more successful by making an impact in the world, continuously and constantly making an impact in the world. What were some of the challenges that you faced as a kid
At their age.
at their age? Correct. Yeah.
Um, yeah, so growing up, it was kind of tough for me. I wouldn't say I wasn't the brightest. I was smart, but wasn't focused. I wasn't confident. I struggled with getting good grades all up until 11th grade, believe it or not. Like, I couldn't focus and study. I was so misbehaved. I, and I was really having a hard time. I mean, you know how Indian parents are.
Yeah.
Grades and performance is like such a big thing. It's huge, and
Yeah.
they put a lot of importance on it from a young age. And I wasn't doing well. I wasn't performing well. I'd always get satisfactory. I'd always get B's. I'd always get C's. And internally, I didn't have it. Constantly broke my confidence because I didn't know why. I was like, why am I not doing well? Like, why am I having such a hard time focusing? And it was like really tough because a lot of my peers, my brother, very smart, and like I always felt that I was like trying to keep up,
Yeah.
and it was difficult.
Yeah.
Um, and like constantly my confidence would keep breaking, and I like literally just felt like I didn't know what to do, and I would try and try, and it was just always the same. So I finally like I don't know what it was. I think like my mom really helped me in like putting me into karate. She put me into like multiple after school programs and really helped me focus in tutoring and put me through many different like private tutor lessons and group
Yeah.
class lessons and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
really paid attention to my focus, paid attention to um, my confidence, and I think a lot of that was also like helping me have surround sound confidence, whether it was like from the way I looked, helping me get more active, helping me have more friends and stuff
Mm-hmm.
like that. So that surround sound confidence really built up. And then I also started doing those educational classes simultaneously, and that really helped as well. And then I think like when I hit 11th grade, I started realizing that like I needed to like I knew I did really well in the courses I loved. So as we started recognizing that, I would pick the classes that I really loved when I had electives,
Mm-hmm.
and that really brought my GPA up. That really brought my grades up, and I
Right.
started to and I rocketed. Like I
Yeah.
started getting like 3.8, like a 3.79. Like I was doing phenomenal. I was getting like straight A's. Um, and my parents were like, wow, like it was like a literally a 180.
Yeah.
And it was really because like I think really because like my mom started realizing that I needed a lot of attention and focus on like surround sound growth from
Yeah.
a confidence perspective. And then I needed a cheerleader, which was like her all the time. She actually never put me down. She never ever called me stupid or made me feel like I wasn't smart enough, or like she really tried to help me grow
Mm-hmm.
versus putting me down. Um, and I think that's what really changed a lot of it for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you said a lot of really great key things. First of all, having that surround sound of confidence where it's not just the confidence that your parents are building in you as a child, but also that you're going to other places, say if you're going to tutoring or you're going to karate or you're involved in a sport or your friends that you have around you. It's that surround sound confidence that really comes within you. And I think that also really ties back to the reason that I'm doing this podcast and that we're on doing this podcast is because we need to have more surround sound confidence building programs for our students and for our kids to be a part of, because we're their number one cheerleaders, right? Well, we're their
Yeah,
number two cheerleaders because parents are their number one, but we're
yeah,
also their cheerleaders, and it's our job to make sure that they are doing the best that they can do. Um,
yeah. I agree. I
so
agree.
you say that your challenges were really overcome by having that surround sound confidence. Where did that really come from?
So, like I said, that came from focusing on my surround sound growth, right? Like it was having that growth mindset. It was really about focusing on what does she need, and really like having my parents be my cheerleader.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that is what essentially kind of helped me overcome that barrier.
Sure.
Um, and then do want to make note of this because it's important, and I think everyone should know this. But getting into college and throughout college, I really struggled with my anxiety. And I think that was stemmed from the lack of confidence I had from a younger age. And when I got into college, things were tough, right? I didn't have, like, that transition was tough.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point, I really had to take charge of my own life because I no longer had my mother there to help me.
Mm-hmm.
So it's different. And, I'm far away from home. So it was really tough. And I think a lot of it, I had to really resource back to those key learnings about focus, how to get focused, what are ways to get focused, what's the mindset you should have to get focused, how do you lean on your support system, like your loved ones, like your parents, like your siblings, like your friends for help.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Seeking additional help with teachers after school. A lot of that, not it's because even though I experienced it in college, it's not like anyone can't experience that or use those same learnings now
Yeah.
because and at a younger age, because
Yeah.
I know that you and I discuss this often, but a lot of students are experiencing probably what I experienced in college now,
Yeah. Yeah,
which
definitely.
yeah, and it's really important that um, you know, I experience that, and I sometimes really feel for them. I really do feel for not sometimes. I always feel for them because I know what that feels like. I know what that internal pressure feels like.
Mm-hmm.
It's like and it's not easy, and it's like that fear of failure is what really drives the anxiety. But it for me personally is what stemmed me to be more successful and forced me to keep my head in the game always,
Yeah.
because I knew that wasn't an option for me.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to let my fears take over or my anxiety take over. So I always had to use strategies like refocusing and redirecting myself, finding a safe place to work, what finding a
Yeah.
focused area to work.
Yeah.
Like I said, leaning on loved ones when you're in time of we need time of help, and finding
Yeah.
those cheerleaders, right? Like
Yeah.
those everyday cheerleaders. That's
Yeah.
really what helped me. And I
Yeah.
think that's applicable for any student, any parent, anyone that's really going through something like that. Like, I think parents and children should know that these are some strategies that are out there, and these are a lot of people at any age experience this.
Yeah. Yeah, and you're definitely right. There's like we've spoken about this before, that there's a lot of kids that face the anxieties that we faced when like taking the SATs or like getting into college or like college tests. And there's a lot of like third, fourth, fifth graders that are facing that same level of anxiety over standardized testing and like the PARC test or the NJSLA test or any test that's going on. And the the major thing is to not avoid taking that test. It's not like opting your kids out of taking that test because they're having anxiety, but it's to refocus them and give them strategies on how they can better take that and better be prepared by, say, hooking them up with mentors, or having a positive friend group that is all that they're all motivated to take that test and really do really well on that test. And it's about like creating that space for your kids to do those things by giving them the strategies that they need to accomplish those things. And I
Mm-hmm.
think like that's the major key, because our parents are very similar, that if we had a test coming up, it was never like, oh, let's opt our kids out of this test because it's too scary to take and it gives our kids too much stress, but rather let's prepare them enough by sending them to tutoring, or going to see the teacher after class to speak to the teacher, or doing
Mm-hmm.
like extra prep at home to make sure that we're more than ready to take this test. So it's more about preparation, and like you said, creating that exterior roundabout, that exterior environment of confidence for kids to be a part of. So I definitely
Yeah.
really like that point. Um, so what have you learned from, well, first of all, what are some of your biggest failures? And what have you learned from them?
Yeah. So, in terms of failures, I would say that I don't actually want to rephrase that, because I don't know if failures is maybe a word that I would use every day. I would probably say that I've come overcome a lot of challenges.
Yes,
Um,
sure.
so
Better way of
yeah,
saying it.
so yeah, so I've overcome a lot of challenges, like I mentioned earlier, in school with grades. Um, and like I mentioned earlier, something that I really want to focus on is I really did well when I loved something, when I enjoyed it. Like, let's be honest here, I really struggle with math. And I probably didn't do that well in math all the time. But when it
Hmm.
came to science, I was great. Like,
Yeah.
I was like taking double science courses. And
Well,
it's really, and I was like doing well. I loved chemistry. I got like straight A's in chemistry. I did well
yeah.
in, but like whatever it was, when I loved it and I was passionate about it, I did great. And like, for example, this, like, anything related to giving back, helping, related to uplift. I like work a full time job for like the past 3 years now, and I still continue to do this because I love it. It
Yeah.
it like it like evokes like a fire in me,
Yeah.
right? And I think that's really what it is. Like, it's like I was always coming across these challenges where I was not doing well in classes that I didn't like, and I was like really hard on myself. And then when I started realizing that, wow, I do so well in the classes that I really love, and then I started to use that to my benefit, and I really optimized on my success, and really really like focused in on those skills that I was good at, and then put my best foot forward and use that to drive my success. I'm really good at leadership skills, right? So I use that to also help me build a stronger surround sound as I was getting into college.
Mm-hmm.
Even though my GPA wasn't high to get into good schools, you know what I did? I was president of organizations starting high school
Mm-hmm.
because I knew that I had great leadership skills. So, like, those are the things that we picked up on and then started to use to build my resume, build my applications.
Yeah.
And, it was something that I felt was very smart to do. And the same thing in college. I mean, I struggled with a lot of anxiety and stuff in college, but I also knew that something that really built a fire in me was being a leader. So I was president of two separate organizations at separate years of college. And that also built my resume when I was applying for full-time jobs. So like that was something that was continuous that I noticed that got me into college from high school and then got me a really good job when I got out of college. So it was something that I continuously capitalized on.
Yeah.
Right. So it was more so like in that sense, when I say I had a challenge, I always used those challenges to like weed out what I was and wasn't good at.
Mm-hmm. I think that's really great because like we do the same thing here is that we teach our kids that it's really important to love what you do, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like eh, my weakest subject when I was a kid too was also math. Like I love English, I love reading, I love writing, I love doing all of those things, but I didn't always love doing those things. And I shared my report card with a lot of our families in the MBU community group page, and like I
Yeah.
had ones and twos. It was like really I had like really terrible grades, and it wasn't until I realized how to love reading, how to love writing, how to love math, how to love these subjects that I really started to improve. And then one after the other, I capitalized on that and built it into what this is now and what this is going to be in the future. And you're right, that's what makes a leader. That's what makes a person who really uses their challenges to fuel them forward. Whenever you have a challenge, that is something that you need to work on. That's life telling you that, like, this is a challenge. This is something that you need to do to grow. It's not, you have a challenge. All right, time to give up. Like that's what I did when I was a kid. Like, I had a challenge. All right, nope, too hard. I'm not doing this anymore. And like
Yeah.
a lot of times kids feel that same way, is that kids just give up when things are hard. But a challenge is a good thing. That means that you don't know how to do something completely yet, and that's something that you need to focus on and use to your advantage and build up your skill set, so that way when you do go to get a job or you do go to start a professional organization like your organization to help thousands of kids in India, like when you go to do something like that, that's what your challenges will help you do. So I really like that you refocused that question and took that failure question and turned it into a challenge to help build your blocks.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, um, do you still, one thing that our students really struggle with is that they really struggle with focus. Do you struggle with focus?
Yes, I do. I struggle with focus often still, surprisingly, right? Yeah, like I do focus with struggle with focus often, but I think the best way, like I mentioned earlier, is really finding that space that helps you refocus. I also, have used the approach of deactivating social media. Yeah, which has also helped sometimes too.
Yeah.
Really just take those distractions out of your hindsight. Make a to-do list. So like I have a list of things I have to get done by the end of the day. So get
Mm-hmm.
those done. And then find a place where just like that you have a good schedule. Like, okay, in this time period I'm gonna get this done. This time period I'm gonna get this done. By this time, have to get this done. So I think that really helps bring about that scheduling, time management, and focus, and then keeping to-do lists and reminders. And those little
Yeah.
tactics have just helped me. I think that's what I really had to do in college because I was struggling with a lot of anxiety. So it was like, okay, like, and it was all related through school. So it was like I had to make sure that I did all these things to keep myself healthy and happy, right? Mental health
Mm-hmm.
is like the biggest thing.
Yeah.
And I had to do that to keep
Yeah.
myself going.
Yeah, that's definitely really, really important. And I know that you do like a lot of checklists, and you're also one of the most organized people that I know. So And that's something that our students can definitely learn from as well, that like making checklists and to-do lists and planning out what you're going to be doing before you do it. We just started setting intentions in the classroom now. Before kids even get to work, they set their intention for what they want to accomplish or do that day. Is a really powerful and great technique to use. And I'm glad that you do the same thing with doing to-do lists and planning out all the stuff beforehand, because that's the best way to stay organized. Where are you in your journey now, and what is your goal?
So currently, let's say I have a lot of journeys that I follow, a lot of different paths. But no, I'm kidding. So right now, as you know, I'm studying to go back to school because I want to get stronger in the public health field. I want to be able to excel in that, further my nonprofit work and further a lot of the health education work and the mental health work. I think that's really important, something that it just really like drives me personally.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that I would like to further my knowledge in that, and
Mm-hmm.
my like credentials in that. So that's something I'm focusing on right now from an educational journey. From a
Mm-hmm.
professional journey, I want to say that I'm literally only a fourth into my lifelong project
Mm-hmm.
of helping others and giving back, and this whole commitment I've made with the nonprofit work I do. I think that is something that's very near and dear to my heart. And as I mentioned, I'm going back this year to launch 2 more facilities, and grow the work I'm doing and really understand the impact we're making. And my my goal is that really in the future we can increase that impact, bring more opportunities, and really grow the community there, really involve the community there as well. Right now, we have teachers that educate the students and stuff from a year-on perspective, but we want to put more locals involved and get more organizations to get involved and provide for the children.
That's really awesome. I'm glad that you want to make an impact in the world and you want to help out people. That's also something that I want to do, and I guess that's why it makes it so good together, you know. But yeah.
High
High five.
five.
Okay. So I have two more questions for you. My second question is, well, my first question actually. How can these kids and parents be a part of your life, since you are such an excellent role model, and you are a leader and you're very organized, determined, and you're making an impact in the world? How can these kids be a part of your life and your organization's life?
So, my life, I'm a part of MBU always. So you will always see me around. You see Miss Raina, shoot her a holler. Um, but definitely, I mean, you will always have me as a mentor. That's a big part of why I believe so much in everything that you do, is because I believe that I think you make a big difference in their lives. I would really love to be involved always to make a difference in the students' lives. Um, so that's obviously one way. Another thing I want to bring up is that I did mention earlier about our summer program.
Yes.
So the summer program is a great opportunity, and I really do encourage all parents that are interested in sending their children to India to look into this on the website. Um,
And I'll attach the website to this video
yeah.
so that way.
So basically, the program in itself is a 3-week program where you can go to any one of our one locations in India. You have full staff, teachers, chaperones, everyone's there. And what you do is you do peer-to-peer learning with the students. You help them understand life skills, you work on English, and you really like to understand what their day-to-day life is like. And then you kind of talk about your day-to-day life. And it's so amazing. You're completely like embracing the culture that they're in, embracing the community that they're in, and you're really giving back to what your learnings are day to day and every day.
Mm-hmm.
And it's an amazing opportunity. I've heard great things from all the students and family friends that I know that have done it, and I recommend all parents to look into it. Really, I do.
Yeah, that's really amazing. We'll definitely shoot that out, and there'll be a link that'll be attached to this video. It'll be on the bottom or the top of this video. Just click on that link so that way you guys can find out more information on how your kids can be a part of Raina's life, and also Uplift's mission on helping out the kids in India. And my last question for you, Raina, is if you were 99 years old and you're on your deathbed, you're about to
Yes.
disappear forever, and nobody is going to remember anything that you did, what is one truth that you would pass on to kids?
Um, the one thing is the one thing that MBU stands for, and the cornerstone of MBU is the we always talk about never stop believing in yourself. Um, I think at a very young age, like I did often feel that I stopped believing in myself. And sometimes I find that I do sometimes day to day, like, but then I come back and I'm like, you know what, this is wrong because if I don't believe in myself, no one else will, right? And you have to move forward. You have to know your path. You have to know your goal. You have to know your direction. And you have to keep using that to push forward. There's believing in yourself can only help you succeed in life. And that is literally everything and anything I live for. So, like I always say, like believe in yourself, know that everything's gonna be okay, and that things may go wrong at times. You may feel disheartened, but get up, keep your head up high, and know that there's light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, awesome. Well, Raina, I really have to thank you so much for being the very first role model on the Role Models podcast. I'm really excited that you did this. This is going to change a lot of lives. This is going to help a lot of kids. Parents, make sure you show this video to your kids. And also, parents, make sure you share this video. We really want to make such an impact on the lives of so many more children. So, parents, please go ahead and share this video. Show your love. Make sure you like Raina's video podcast. This was great. Thank you so much for being the very first one, Raina. And I look forward for a lot of the kids to be a part of your life and also for you to come here and be a part of all of our students' lives. Thank you so much for coming on.
Of course. I'm so excited to see everyone in classes and around. Bye. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Bye.